They're saying the market's tough. Of course it is. We're seeing numbers are changing.
The market doesn't determine your income. Your activities do. There's somebody out there having their best year because they're not letting the market dictate their income. They're letting their activities dictate their income.
3 actionable items that agents that are in growth mode need to be doing today.
20 contacts a day, 5 days a week. Now, once you do that, that's the first action item. Number 2 is have a coach, have an accountability partner. Number 3 is have a growth plan. Practice. Go out and practice and role play and have a growth plan on learning how to become better. Be an expert in your market.
Hi, everyone. It's Tanya here from Keller Williams Complete in Hamilton. I'm so thrilled to have Eddie next to me today. Bold Coach, we just wrapped up week 6, the final week. Everyone just graduated. I'm so excited to have you here. And the first thing I want to ask you is about your story. You have this remarkable story. I want to hear about it again. If you could share a little bit about your past, how you got here and how you got to Bold.
Yeah, so I came to real estate in 2015. I had just moved to Asheville, North Carolina, and shout out to all my Asheville people. I know you're going through some hard times right now and know that we support you. And, got licensed in Asheville in January of 2015, wound up taking Bold within like my first 3 months in the business, and it changed everything for me. It set in motion the basis of everything I've done since then, which is 20 contacts a day, 5 days a week. And so I went on, I had a full-time job at that time. I didn't know anybody and I was building my business. So I started out with for sale by owner and expired, did 13 transactions with a full-time job my first year, then went on my second year. I wound up leaving my full-time job halfway through, did 33 transactions my second year. Third year in the business, did about 15 million in volume, 62 transactions. And ever since then, it's been kind of off to the races. And it was taking Bold over and over again. I joined a team, the Matt Molly team, that helped me grow and learn more about the business. Molly DeMatos is an amazing coach, and she's now Dean of K-Score. And, it was just fortuitous that I ran into her at Win with Buyers I took with her, and her energy was amazing. So she coached me on how to be a better agent. And I grew from the Matt Molly team, Matt Tavener, and then went solo again. Then in about November 5th, 2020, we found out our daughter had a really rare form of cancer. And it was one that had a really high mortality rate. So we decided that it was best if we moved to Cleveland to be close to the Cleveland Clinic. So we found out November 5th, 2020 that she was sick. We bought our house December 15th. Well, we sold our house in Asheville December 15th, bought our house in Cleveland December 20th, and she had her surgery that January, and Ohio is not reciprocal with North Carolina. So I went to real estate school again, got a new real estate license in Ohio, got that in February, and sold my first house in Cleveland in about June, and then did 26 units between June and December of my first year, double production in the second year. Got tapped to be team leader of the market center. We were the number 1 market center in all of Keller Williams in profitability. So we became number 1 in profitability. And at the same time, I then got tapped to be a Bold Coach, went through the audition process, and became a Bold Coach. I've got 5 kids and built the business there. And recently, after some life introspection, my wife and I looked at each other and said, why are we still living in Cleveland? And so we moved to the Carolinas. We moved back to the Carolinas, and I'm starting my business all over again, and starting from zero in a brand new city that I've never lived in before. And I get to do it again.
That sounds exciting.
The
overall theme it consistently shows up with you, I would say, is growth. I mean, you've launched from zero to success more than a few times, and wearing a few different hats. So team leader, Bold Coach, walk me through what keeps someone so motivated to grow in different roles, and, all while having a family and having a successful real estate career.
I think that it's the 6 personal perspectives, and it comes down to self-mastery. And being growth-minded is important to me because I look at where I am in life and who I desire to become. And, I'm not there yet. And so that's the thing that keeps me going is, going after who I desire to be. And it's the old bull thing of be, do, have. And that's where I'm at in my life right now is when I get to where I want to be, then, we'll see then. And as of right now, I've got a lot of drivers. I've got, 5 children that look up to me and, I provide for and also am the example for in the sense of, what life can be when you really go after your dreams. Their mother has a doctorate, same thing, someone who went after their dreams. So, I'm not quite as accomplished as that. And at the same time, I'm someone who goes after their dreams.
Yeah, that's inspiring. 5 children, and they must look up to you. That's pretty, you have, I think, there's so much potential that you have, especially when you have children. You can pour into them and you're going to see them grow up, which is a wonderful thing, of course, and it keeps you busy. Now, something that I'm always curious about is in your business, I'm sure at some point there's a glass ceiling, and I'm assuming that you faced it. Right now, agents, they're saying the market's tough. Of course it is. We're seeing numbers are changing, maybe picking up a little bit, maybe not. So when these agents, whether they're brand new, up and coming, or they're in production and they have a glass ceiling, what from Bold specifically would help them break through to the other side?
Well, Gary says this often, and, it's the market doesn't determine your income, your activities do. And so, a lot of the agents are looking for reasons why. And the thing in Bold we talk about is you can have reasons and results, and, and where belief lives, fear can't. And so you give yourself these reasons why you won't succeed, or you can restructure that thought and give yourself reasons why you can. And so we talk about affirmations and afformations. And a lot of people know affirmations, and it's saying things like, I'm a great salesperson, or I sell 100 homes a year. And the affirmation is when you add a question to that and you say, what makes me sell 100 homes a year? How do I sell 100 homes a year? So then you create a plan. And the thing that, we struggle with as people is we say, it didn't work out. The plan failed. Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is, if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. And it's not necessarily the plan that failed. You probably failed to execute that plan. And so it's about executing the plan and making sure you're going after it and putting it in a systematic way. And most people think that when the market's bad, that there's less money or there's less inventory or anything like that. The reality is that people move based on life events. People are still being born. People are still getting married. People are still having babies. People are still downsizing. People are still moving for jobs. People are still getting divorced. People are still dying. All of those things are life events that cause real estate events. And so you can say, there in any market, when you're saying, oh, it's a terrible market, there's somebody out there having their best year. Because they're not letting the market dictate their income. They're letting their activities dictate their income. And that's the important part. What are you doing? What plan are you putting in place? Because when I came to Cleveland, it was spring of 21. And if anyone in the States recognizes that spring of 21, people were paying over asking price and waiving inspections and doing all those crazy things, the reality was, it was like 50 people lined up for every residential property. There were no for sale by owners or expireds, because the for sale by owners, there were 20 people ready to buy that property sight unseen. There was no way I was getting them to list with me. And same thing with expireds. If they expired, there was a reason. And so what I did was I looked around and looked at the market and looked where the opportunity was. And that was in investment. there were only 5 to 10 people lined up for investment property in Cleveland, and it was throwing off crazy cash flow numbers. And so Cleveland is 51% rental. So I switched from what I was doing, because I was primarily a listing agent, and I went and worked with investors. And so you have to look at where the opportunities are. And unless you reassess, in Bold, they say, think, seek, choose, act. You have to think about where the opportunities are. You have to think about what your game plan is and create a plan. Think about, seek reality. And then you have to, you seek the reality, you seek a plan that's going to work. And then you choose that plan, and then you act upon it. And so that's the thing. Think, seek, choose, act. And that's what I did. I went, I saw what was going on. I sought a plan to help me move forward. I chose that plan, and then I acted upon it. And I didn't go back to thinking or seeking or anything. I just acted. And that's how I got the 26 units between June and the end of the year, was because I just went after it. And, the bold truth, there is no try. There's only commitment to a goal. And yes, I might fail. Yes, these things happen where failures occur and you fail your way to success. But there is no try, because you have to commit to the goal. You're not committing to the thing that you're doing to get to the goal. You're committing to the goal. So you're doing whatever it takes to get there.
That makes perfect sense. And yeah, I think that's a strong message that a lot of agents need to hear. So I appreciate you telling me that. Another question that I'm going to have is 3 actionable items that agents that are in growth mode need to be doing today to ensure that their next year, 2025, is a big year, is successful. I know that there was a lot of different methods that you've spoken about over the course of 6 weeks. But I guess the 3 main actionable items that they should be really looking at.
Number 1, 20 contacts a day, 5 days a week, 100 real estate conversations every week. And when you have that, you'll never worry about your business, because you focus on the one thing. You focus on what's the one thing, such that by doing makes everything else easier or unnecessary. And that's the one thing. 20 contacts a day, 5 days a week. Now, once you do that, that's the first action item. Number 2 is have a coach, have an accountability partner, because it's easy to say, oh, I'm going to go to the gym. And then it's also easy to say, oh, well, my knee hurts and I don't feel like it. It's hard to pick up the phone on some days where you don't want to do it. So who's your accountability partner? Who's your coach? Have a coach. And then number 3 is have a growth plan. Practice. Go out and practice and role play and have a growth plan on learning how to become better. Be an expert in your market, because those 3 things together mean that everything else falls into place. You're doing the lead generation. You have a coach to hold you accountable to your numbers and set bigger and better goals. And then you also have the plan to be better. Because I always say this to my children when they start: if it's worth doing poorly. Gary's mother always told him this: if it's worth doing well. And when I say Gary, I mean Gary Keller. And so what I mean by that is there's a place where you start. No one's an expert when they start. If it's worth doing poorly. Just start. And then if it's still worth doing, it's worth doing well. So get better. Have a growth plan.
Yeah, that's perfect. And that makes a lot of sense. I want to kick it over to you. So you're obviously coaching Bold. I'm assuming you have clients that you coach. Talk to me a little bit about that, about where you're at in your current business right now and how Bold plays into that, how being, previously you were a TL, you were a team lead for a Keller Williams brokerage. Walk me through where Eddie currently is today.
Currently, I'm a newly licensed agent in South Carolina. So I just got licensed in North and South Carolina. I live in the Charlotte area, just over the border in South Carolina, in Charlotte metro area. And I'm just an agent. That's what I am. I'm an agent starting out a business. My business is at a negative right now because to start it, I've put my own money into it. So the business hasn't earned a dime. And so it's a new brand. It's Marigold is my team name. And so it's a new brand. It's no database, no nothing, starting from scratch. and I get to do this. And so when I finish up this week, I'm in my last week of the 6 weeks here in Canada. And when I finish up, I go home and I start documenting my journey as a new South Carolina agent building a business. And I'm going to put it all out online to, let everybody see the numbers and track it and my wins, my losses. And I'm going to hold myself accountable to, putting it out there to show that bold works, because I'm going to run the plays. I'm going to run the bold book and run the plays. And I know that it works. And I'm going to be the proof that you can have an incredible business just by doing what they say, because that's how I did it. I listened to what they said. I did what they said and grew an incredible business. So I get to do it again. And I'm excited about it.
I was going to say, I'm actually so excited. So as you're talking, I can feel my cheeks are just smiling because you've done it a few times. So you're in an area. So to my understanding, you don't have a database at all.
No.
And so you really got to build it up. So this is a time where you're putting all the bold tools to use. What's the first thing you're going to do? Are you a door knocker? Are you a cold caller?
I'm not a door knocker. And I will door knock my neighborhood, the neighborhood I live in, because I live in a community of about 1,000 homes, and we picked it strategically. The real thing is I've already started. So I just had my first event this weekend. And that was a fall photo shoot where we did free fall photos for families. We invited, we had about 3,000 people that saw our ads and everything on social media. We had a decent turnout. It was about 50%. And my director of operations was like, hey, is this okay? And I said, really, it's about the touches. Like, we just got out in front of all these people. They saw us, and the people that were here, they had a great experience, and they're going to tell people. And so out of the people that came, I probably got about 7 pieces of actionable business in the next 6 months. So that's great. Great start. And so we're just going to build from there. And so I'm a phone person. I practice and role play my dialogues and my conversations. And so I'm going to do the same thing that I did when I started before. And I'm going to go after the fastest source of business opportunity, which is for sale by owner. Mm-hmm. And then I'm also going to go after the expireds and, just help them sell their homes. I'm always going to look for the people who are saying, I want to sell my home. I'm always going to look for them first. They're saying they want to sell their home. Why would I call randomly to 100 people when we know only 6% out of every 100 are looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? Why wouldn't I call a list where all 100% of them are looking to sell real estate?
Yeah, work smarter, not harder.
Yes.
That's a perfect strategy. So then you must have goals. And what do those goals look like for 2025?
2025, the goals are actually fairly simple. It's to build out my network, to start building my database, to I'm starting real small, focusing small, and that's 20 units is my have to get. And the actual goal is to get to MREA status within 3 years.
And for those of you who don't know what that is, would you mind explaining a little detail?
Gary Keller wrote a book. Gary and a few others wrote a book. And so it's the MREA, and it's the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. And so MREA status means that you net $1 million annually from real estate in gross commission income. So my goal is within 3 years of being in the business in the Carolinas to be an MREA agent.
And that's possible.
We'll see.
Yeah.
And yes, it is possible. And we'll see how soon I can do it.
And that's, I would say, the overarching, theme with agents is, when they come in, they sit in front of me and they say, well, I hope to do 5 deals this year. And I really do want people to know that if you want to hit MREA status, it's possible. Of course, it takes work. Of course, it takes a goal. It takes planning. It takes execution. We've spoken about scripting. Connecting with other people, having events. When you pour into your business, the business will pour back into you. So in 3 years, MREA status, I'm excited to see that. Any other comments before I let you go?
No, it's been my pleasure being here. Touring Canada has been great for me, and I love all the connections I've made. And, when it comes down to real estate, success is really simple. It's not easy though. And so when we think about the simplicity of it, too many people make it hard. They overcomplicate it and they overthink it. And so, paralysis by analysis. And so my goal is to just keep it simple. Really keep it simple. Focus on the lead measure, not the lag measure. I'm always focusing on, my contacts versus my goal, because the goal is less important to me than the lead measure. Because if I do that very well and I build a system around that lead measure, then I will have everything that I intend to have through my goal, because it's all about the numbers. And when you know the numbers, all I have to do is hit these numbers up front and all the other numbers will fall into place. I'm never concerned about transactions because I know I'm doing the first part of that lead domino, knock over that lead domino every day that says, I'm going to do my lead generation 3 hours a day, 5 days a week, 20 real estate conversations every day.
That's perfect. What a great way to end. Well, thank you so much for your time, Eddie. And I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you so much, Tanya. And I look forward to it as well.
Awesome.